Today, I'm delighted to tell you about a new but very small feature in Squarespace that I have been waiting for years. It means I don't have to look at third-party software to achieve something that in 2024 should be straightforward. Okay, Squarespace, you're late to the party, but today I'm going to talk about that simple file upload option that we can now add to our forms in Squarespace. I said it was a small change, but it makes a big difference. Mainly because we can now use forms for recruitment on our website to allow applicants to upload a copy of their CV. Or likewise, if we're providing consultancy service, we can ask our clients to share any documentation, files that they're using to get to the bottom of challenges and obstacles that we can help them overcome. And in today's video, I'm going to take you through every step of how to add this feature and also how we can style up our inquiry forms as well, using the Fluid engine to make them look unique and interesting. And if you'd like to get involved in a brand new community that I'm putting together that tackles these types of problems, that keeps you at the forefront of the latest of what's happening with website builders like Squarespace, Hostinger, and soon to be Wix as well, then I'm going to leave some information in the description to demonstrate how you can join our waitlist. But for now, let's crack on with today's video. For today's tutorial, I'm going to be using SquareForge, our shiny Squarespace template builder that we've created in-house that we use on every single Squarespace project that we work on. This is not a hard sell, you don't need to buy this, but if you want to find out more information about how it can help you, there's info in the description. Otherwise, let's start building out our form. I could use one of these saved templates that I've got in SquareForge. This is one that's saved as favorites, and we can see it's a general contact form that we could adapt to be, for example, a recruitment form. I've got a blank block here already created, so let's add a new form into this instead. So I'm going to select form from the add block button. And once I've added that form, I can choose to move it to the position that I want. Now, for example, I could put in an intro about the recruitment. For example, if you're interested in a job, click here. I'll just put some placeholder Latin text in for now, and that should do the job. So let's just space this out as if it was real content. And let's just say we could put this as a heading 2. Paragraph 1 for that. There we go. So we've got our job board section. One thing we can see here when we add a new form in, sometimes it will just add extra spacing below. In fact, almost always it will do that. So let's just move that up and get our form tidied and ready to go. One thing I could do is actually separate the page, so this is on a different background color. And let's go with maybe darkest option, so it's a black background section. And now let's put this over a dark gray backdrop. I could either do it by adding a shape behind it, or in this case, I can edit the form, go into this pencil option here to edit it. And we've got a load of new design options. So the upload file, which is what we're going to be focusing on in a moment, isn't the only new feature added to Squarespace Forms. They've really overhauled it in the last 6 to 12 months. So for example, I could go for a single white outline around our form, just to make it stand out. And I quite like that effect. It's simple, it's effective, and it looks really nice. I could take the form right out to the edge. I do that with images a lot, but I don't tend to do it with selectable or content that you enter in. I always like to have it with enough padding on either side. But as you see here, I've just moved this block in one, just so we've got some nice breathing space, that macro white space around the elements in our design. So now that's all in place, a lot of these standard elements that we get as soon as we add our form in for the first time are still applicable. We've got our first name, last name, email address, subject, message. But we may want to customize this. So let's first of all put this pop-up menu over here, and now we can edit the form fields. And we've got the option now to edit or delete any of these fields, or alternatively, we can add a new one. So let's look at subject first. Something like that. And this is a required field, so that would just be, or role I suppose would be a better way of putting it. Alternatively, I could use a drop-down or radio button option for it. Generally, I would use checkbox or drop-down unless we deliberately want to limit the prospective employee to select only one. So in this case, I'm going to go with drop-down. or what role would you like to apply for? Again, I'm not on my top form today when it comes to language. Okay, so I've chosen 2 options here. You, of course, could change them as you go. We've got the interested in option available. I'm going to get a tiny bit creative here and put elevator pitch in here. There we go. So we've got name, email, elevator pitch, and interested in. Logically, we would have the interested in above the elevator pitch, so that comes first. So let's click and drag from this grid on the left-hand side here, and we can reorder the form. So now we've got interested in, then elevator pitch. And finally, we're going to have a CV upload option. So we're going to go to the bottom here and select File Upload. We can make that again required, as with the others. And we could only select document type, although we could be more creative, allow them to upload video or even audio files. But for now, let's put that in, and let's give them the option to upload a maximum of 3 files. So if they wanted to put in some extra information, we can allow them to put that in, and now our form is pretty much ready to go. A couple of things that we need to do first. Double click on it again to open it. We can go through and tweak the design if we want. We've already had a quick look at that. And finally, we can go to storage. And here, I just put this as a placeholder, but we would need to change that email notification. One thing to note is if you're the designer, it will probably go to your email address, or should I say, if you are the account holder within which this website has been created, it'll be your email that this form will be sent to by default. It's always really important to not just change that, but test it afterwards as well. We've also got the option for additional storage, so we can send applications to Google Drive or Google Sheets. It will store the documents in Google Drive, and it will store the information collected by Google Sheet. So that's everything that we need to do. We can see that Google reCAPTCHA's on as well. That's good to have there to avoid spam. And now we have that form ready in place. But before we wrap up, I'm just going to head over to mobile and just double check that this section is working on mobile before moving on to other page content. So I'm just going to move that block down a little bit, just so that they're not on top of each other. And because we're only talking about 2 blocks, one text block, one form block with the border and everything designed on it, if we were to put a background shape, we'd almost certainly have to just move that behind and move it to the back so our form would work on top of it. But that looks very neat, very professional. And as I mentioned earlier, it's a long overdue feature that's now been added to Squarespace. Hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you'd like to specify what content I'm creating, bear in mind we've got a community, but also you can just leave a message here and I will try my best to create content to match your requirements going forward. I'll catch you next time. Cheers. If you want to say in the future direction of the content that I'll be creating at Pixelhaze Academy and to get involved in our community, all you need to do is leave me your email address. We're looking to create our first community in the coming weeks, and I'm going to be throwing everything I've got at it. That includes our Moonshot Transformation Program, our entire library of online courses, the opportunity to engage with me in regular group sessions. There's more information in the description, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on how we can develop this. Thanks again, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers.